Oh snap, K-Drop only went and dropped a new single, and in this week's episode of Tangential Track Reviews, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on it, going into the lyrics, the beat, the beef. So without further ado, let's get straight to the review. Kendrick Lamar is a Compton-born hip-hop prodigy whose discography really speaks for itself, containing some of the most important and enjoyable albums to be released over the last decade. We're talking Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled and Mastered. I mean, there's 4 classic albums for you right there. Kendrick has solidified himself as a true musical legend, and as he says on this track, Kendrick Lamar is the greatest rapper alive. Arguably. Now, this new drop is actually a bit of a shock for me, man. I did not see this thing coming, but boy did it make my day. And this song aside, we actually know that there's going to be a new album or project coming April 7th, so that's going to be an even better day. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying that this song is the first single release for this album. As far as I know, it's actually only a side drop because the other songs from the Heart series came out as individual releases teasing new projects, which I think is just such a good idea. It keeps everyone on their toes, and it frees them up to put out music that's a little bit different, music that will stand alone. The Heart Part 4 opens up with this really soulful intro and the words, "Don't tell a lie on me, I won't tell the truth on you." That is taken from the song of the same name by James Brown. Now, these words immediately raise a lot of questions, mainly, who the hell is he referring to? In fact, for the most part, this song seems to be calling someone out, and the internet is abuzz with the question of who he's referring to, as he seems to call out Big Sean at least once, but I personally think he's mainly going after Drake in this song. I mean, there's just too many dots connecting for it not to be. For example, one of the more subliminal disses on this track being a reworking of Drake's verse on his song Pound Cake. My favourite part on this verse is when Kendrick says, "Go celebrate with your team and let victory vouch you. Just know the next game played, I might slap the shit out of you." Now, it's a major burn from K-Dot there, and I've seen a lot of people saying that Kendrick is actually calling out Jay-Z on this track because of that line, "Oh Jay-Z, Hall of Fame, sit your punk ass down." But he actually seems to be defending the Jigger Man here in response to Drake's lines from that song Grammys from his album Views that took shots at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's 2017 introduction to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, kind of saying that he was on the same level as Jay-Z, and Kendrick is kind of reminding him to stay in his own lane. Now, man, all this bickering beef, but I digress. This beat on this song is what really got me initially interested, as it's very different for Kendrick, particularly when you consider the more jazz fusion influenced sound of his last project, Untitled and Mastered. But as my mum always says, a change is better than a rest, and this song is literally a change. In fact, it has like 3 changes in it, starting with that more soft neo-soul intro, and then moving on to 2 other changes in the beat that have a much harder tone to them, making it perfect for the subject matter covered on this track, as it gives the song kind of like a going to war kind of feel to it. Kendrick is for sure demonstrating that he's not going to pull any more punches, that he's going to say exactly what he thinks. So kudos to him, because in the position that he's in right now in the music industry, I feel he could have gone either one way or the other, merging into the mainstream or completely rejecting it, which is what he seems to be doing on this song, which, by the way, I love. Now, while I love this beat, I do think the producers did an absolutely fantastic job on it. The only thing is, for me, it just doesn't seem to be quite the right beat for Kendrick. Now, this is just my opinion. I just think his style of rapping and his diction don't sit that well here. It's almost like his voice is skimming along the surface of this beat instead of sinking into it. But again, this is just my opinion. Now, Kendrick has, as always, delivered a really good song here. Very unique, very interesting, making me all the more excited for whatever new project is coming. But one of the most significant things here is that Kendrick and Top Dawg have just demonstrated how goddamn good they are at marketing and self-promotion, as this song has gotten the whole world talking about Kendrick, putting him at the center of attention in the music world, taking the spotlight away from Drake and his latest release, More Life, which you can see my overview of right here, by the way. Now, this is a very significant move because Drake is probably Kendrick's biggest competition, certainly in terms of popularity in the rap game. But with this song, Heart Part 4, he's totally rained on Drake's parade because Kendrick is just reminding the world that he is the #1 lyricist and that he's not interested in winning some kind of popularity contest. As he says on this song, "I'll let you worry about lists, I'm on some other shit, the difference between accomplishments and astonishments." Now, I mean, no one could have said it better. Now, back to what I was saying about the genius of this release. The fact that there is just so much covered in this song, especially with all the B stuff, it's just sparked so much conversation, especially with Kendrick's reputation. Everyone has just absolutely picked this thing apart, examining every single last word, adding a ton of wood to the hype fire, and setting up Top Dog perfectly to release this new album, single, or whatever is coming. Which, again, is absolutely crazy. I just did not see him dropping something so soon after Untitled and Mastered. I mean, I'm so excited for this release, but man, I don't know if I can handle a new Kendrick Lamar project. The mind is willing, but I'm not sure the body is ready. But ready or not, as Kendrick has said, I've got till April 7th to get my shit together. Now, on that note, we're going to have to wrap up this week's episode of Tangential Track Reviews. If you guys enjoyed this video, then be sure to subscribe to Mason's Music Library and check us out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All links found below. And last but not least, I have this week's recommended listening, starting with Beat the Case by Absol, a song that I am absolutely in love with, Vice City by J-Rock, Break the Bank by Schoolboy Q, and Rigor Mortis by none other than King Kendrick Lamar. Now, thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.